Hi, I'm Natalie Fritsch, and this is Drew Fritsch, who is my dad, and today I will be questioning him about Grand Island. So first, how long have you lived on Grand Island, with years and ages?
Well, we first moved to Grand Island when I was 9 years old. I was getting ready to start fourth grade at that time, and my parents and I moved over here from Clarence, where I originally grew up. And I lived here till I was 21, even going to undergrad at UB while I lived here. And then I did move away after, or when I started law school at 21. And then I moved back here 5 years ago, back to the same house that I grew up in. Um, so back in 2015, we moved back. So I guess I've lived here for a total of 17 years at this point.
Okay, where did you work when you were younger?
I had a few jobs when I was younger. The main place I worked was Fantasy Island, which, sad to say, is a recently closed amusement park here on Grand Island, where a lot of young people first got their jobs. I worked there as a lifeguard from the age of 16 till about the age of 23. The last couple of years, or till 23, about till 21, I'd say. Last couple of years there, I actually was a water park supervisor. I was in charge of hiring, firing, etc. It was a great place to work. Made a lot of friends. I also taught tennis for the town, and had some other lifeguarding jobs as well. But Fantasy Island was the main place I worked, and I'm gonna miss it because I enjoyed also taking my kids there as well.
What are the differences you noticed since living here as a kid and now as an adult?
There's not really a ton of changes here versus some other places that have experienced rapid growth here in Western New York. The population has remained around 20,000, give or take a few thousand here or there from then until now. There's been some businesses that have opened, some businesses that have closed. I guess the major difference would be if that Amazon distribution center ends up here on Grand Island. That's going to change things dramatically as far as all the traffic that we have. Everybody knows the bridges can be challenging at times, but they were then and they still are somewhat now.
What stores do you most frequently visit on Grand Island?
Well, I guess we don't really have a ton of stores per se. We have Tops is our only grocery store, so we frequent that on a fairly regular basis. There's a number of different restaurants that we visit on a regular basis. There's Village Inn, which is a couple miles from my house here. There's Dick and Jenny's, which is another restaurant down the road a little bit. And I guess probably the one I hit the most is Tim Hortons getting my coffee in the morning. Would probably be the ones that I hit the most. There are a couple other little stores, but don't really go to them very often. And as far as restaurants, we try to go to the locally owned ones instead of just the chain restaurants.
What events does Grand Island have that make it a community?
Well, I would say the biggest event they have here is the every 4th of July. They have a road race and then a parade shortly thereafter. All three of my kids have run in the road race with different levels of success. Just leave it at that. and I've run in the road race as well, and we enjoy the parade as well. We get to see a lot of familiar faces, and then I would say other events. We have the Taste of Grand Island, which if we end up with actual nice weather, we've gone to a number of times. However, we've had some really stormy days for that, unfortunately. And I think any other events that we like to frequent?
The bowling alley, New Year's Eve.
Oh, the bowling alley does party on New Year's Eve, and they do a party on July 3rd as well, the night of, where they're welcoming back all high school graduates and other people from the years. So, number of different events on the island, but not too much.
Can you tell me about some of the parks on Grand Island?
Yeah, one thing that's nice about Grand Island is they maintain a lot of green space, and it's not everybody built right on top of each other and in dense like some, like the city of Buffalo and some other places. We have Beaver Island State Park, which is just down the road here, a short walk from our house, which is a beautiful state park that has a sledding hill, golf course, beach, boardwalk, even an old house that was Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen was involved in it there. Yeah, who Allentown is named after. That's down at Beaver Island. At the other end of the island, we have Buckhorn State Park, which is another small state park. And all these have walking trails and bike trails and things like that. We have a number of different, all the different schools have different playgrounds and things like fields and things like that. And then we also have Veterans Park, which was not here when I was young, but it got here between the years when I first lived here and moved back. That has probably about 8 to 10 soccer fields, a football field, a number of baseball fields, including Miracle League baseball, and it's in the same facility area as the public library. So that's a nice spot as well, and great spot to play games, and a great spot to go as a spectator as well.
Thank you for letting me interview you today.
It was my pleasure.